All right, we're going to start at, no, it's not 5:02, it's 6:02.
That's right.
We need a ladder. Oh, where's my agenda? I got maps, no agenda. Can I borrow your agenda?
Here, there's one right here.
Oh, didn't see it, buried under all the maps.
You didn't eat his cookies soon enough.
Approval of the minutes from January 18th.
Seconded. Seconded.
It's been moved and second that we approve the minutes as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Appearance of interested citizens. Nobody wanted to come to our board meeting. All right.
They think it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, they think it's 5, well, that's what it says up there. That's gone. Reassignments of parks. So if you will have in front of you your
Several
current
pieces of-
park assignments. Now, it's been brought,
These are the current ones?
This
those are
one.
the current ones. They haven't changed in a long time. I thought I would change them so we got more of a
4
preview
years.
of what's going on. Bob Newton in Northview. So, oh, we're missing, I kind of thought, well, which parks do you want, Mr. Lawyer?
So, Mr. Chair, I guess the question I want to ask first is, we have parks assigned to us, but I guess, has it ever been identified of what being assigned a park actually means, other than sort of a point of contact for that park? I mean, I've taken it upon myself to do frequent walkthroughs of the 2 parks I'm currently assigned, but I don't necessarily know what being assigned a park necessarily means, so.
Well, at one time, we were asked to, at every, that's good, leave the door locked. Anyway, a long time ago, the board members were asked every month to report on their park and what they needed.
Right.
I was figuring every other month he would report. So like all even numbered positions report one month and all the odds would on the next month. That gives you more time to look into and see what's going on.
Now that we're,
But
now
it
that
was
we're
real hard for
getting
me to report because I had Palmacia and
of that.
Sunset. So, yep, theirs develop as much as they're going to be. So that's what my thought was, that we could maybe shuffle these around a little bit and report back to the board and see how things are going where, and if there is any dire needs that we could report to staff, or just note that we might want to take some kind of action on that.
So then, if I can clarify, I think what I'm understanding is that you're wanting people to take a more active role in going out and looking at their parks that they've been assigned to, with the intent to hopefully provide back to this body, as well as possibly staff, current needs in those parks.
Yes. and that
Or
was-
improvements.
Or improvements.
It's a good way to keep.
Or something the neighbors want you to, or have concern if you meet some of the people there at the park when you're viewing it. I also was thinking maybe we should do this maybe switch it around a little bit every year or a year and a half or 2, so that we have the board has a better view of what our whole park system looks like. That's one of my goals also. You like that?
I mean,
Because, like, you and I are probably really familiar with Keizer Rapids Park.
right.
And I'm really familiar with Sunset and Willamette Manor Park and Palmacia because nothing happens there anyway. But I don't think everybody's familiar. I'm not very familiar with Bear Park or Bob Newton Park or any of those other parks because I don't live close to them. So I thought I would reach out and go to the other end, start, parks on the north end so I can see what's going on up at like Clear Lake and Bear. What we could possibly do there. That was my thought. And probably would need to be modified. I've been given that advice. You'll trade me.
Well, well, hold up.
Yes?
Well, if trading's on the table.
No, we're not having trade-ins on the
Exactly.
table.
There we go, thank you.
Not yet. I have proposals, but maybe we should just,
Why don't you read off the proposals and then we'll know where
Yeah,
we're
that's
at and
what-
then
what
we
do
can
you-
go from there.
and then you'll pull out the guns. I don't have my Kevlar on tonight, so it's back there behind the coats.
Well, so I guess, Mr. Chair, my recommendation might be, I don't know how to say this without sounding like,
I'm gonna say it without getting,
without saying, so, is everybody in that same thought process? This is kind of the course of action we want to go. I mean, I would assume it would be, since we all volunteered to be part of the Parks Board. But what I don't want to do is establish sort of a mandate without making sure that everybody has the same buy-in and commitment to be able to do that, taking into account maybe somebody's restrictions in movement or anything else like that,
Well-
time, all those other things, so.
absolutely. So when, my recommendations, the parks are fairly close together.
Okay.
But there's our people who have more interest in some parks than other parks. Maybe we need to change that list according to that. But I'd like them to have another park that they go look at too, and hopefully not a do-nothing park. In fact, Northridge, that might develop, as that whole thing across the creek from McClaggett. But this time, it isn't there.
Because personally, I think it's a great idea. I mean, any additional time that the members of this board can get in and actually get eyes on, I mean, but for the survey, I don't think many of us knew where many of these parks were, let alone had been to any of them. It challenged a lot of us to actually get out there and see them and get eyes on the ground and sort of do that. So I think it's a great idea. It provides a little bit of ownership in terms of reporting back and gives us a little bit of homework. So I think it's, from my point of view, I'm 100% committed to this idea personally, so.
It just needs refining, I've been told. Anyway, I have some kind of random, trying to pick parks. Let me find my list. So like, only time I've been to Bear Park is on a parks tour.
Well, it's been several years then, because,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's one of my another reason. I don't know the park system, and I've been doing this for a long time, but I know Sunset Park and Palmacia and Wilson House. Those I know, because they're next to my house. I walk my dog through those, so, except Palmacia, there's just nothing there anyway, except people, growing their gardens on the park. So that was another one of my motivations.
Well, I have a comment on this. A lot of us visit some of these parks on a regular basis, and it would be great if we could be assigned the parks that we normally visit,
Well, it's like,
and maybe provide us a choice of which parks we would like to take over ownership of.
yeah. Can I add to that?
No?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, which is it? Pick.
Yes, you can.
Okay, all right. I think that if we're expecting to be reporting on these regularly, that making us go to arbitrarily a park we wouldn't normally visit doesn't really help anyone, because we should be getting feedback from a person who ideally is going to be hopefully revisiting that on a regular basis anyway. So having convenience-based picks, I think, is going to get us more towards what we want. Although I'm not, saying, oh, I've got to be convenient or I'm not doing it, but I think we're going to get closer
We all
to
can read it between the lines.
a more consistent action towards our goal by making them more convenience-based.
Okay, but you get two,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe you may.
Well, I'm
be
saying
quiet.
Wayne lives like right next to the two that I currently take a look at, and I have to make a special trip out there. It would be more convenient for him to be assigned those parks because he's already at them almost all the time.
So,
I was there today.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't because it's
Yes,
hard for me. to
Mr.
do that.
Lawyer.
Did we raise our hands? and
Yeah,
not just
well-
tap?
I would offer that maybe there's a happy medium. Maybe there's a one I want, one that I can work with, right? What I think if we get too attached to our parks, then a sort of ownership becomes adversarial in terms of, well, no, this is my park and I want this next project to go here type thing. Whereas I think if we look at it from a much more objective perspective, which is getting the board into the parks and looking at them, there certainly on a rotating basis, it certainly provides a lot more flexibility in terms of seeing the different points of view and seeing the differences among the parks. Granted, we're going to hear those same reports as we're sitting here, but maybe the alternative would be, as I suggested, one that is near and dear to our hearts, and then maybe one that isn't necessarily something we necessarily want, or yeah, we might have to drive. I mean, Keizer's not that big from end to end, so it's.
No, it's not, but I think the point's been brought to me, and it is well, how about one park that you're close to and one park maybe you
I
don't
don't
know
have any
anything
parks
about?
close to me, so
Well,
the closest one is Meadows.
I think Donna was next.
No, I'm not raising my hand. I'm just asking that everybody,
Oh, well,
Pause
he
and-
gave me the two fingers I want to talk. Mr. Taylor?
well, I'm at Sunset Park every week because taking care of an account, I'm right there.
Well, I drive by
So,
it every day.
well, I know, but I mean, I go down there
boys.
and look and whatever.
So
My
Sunset-
suggestion,
Let's
my
get the names in a
suggestion
hat and
is,
draw 'em.
there's two people that aren't here, and I think that it's pretty obvious that one of them should have Bob Newton, and obviously Clint should have Little League, because he's down there, and he's working there, and so he can,
Point of information, Robert, that really isn't our park, is it?
yeah.
yeah, it is.
I mean, it's on the
Yes,
list.
it is.
Okay, it's on the list of parks, but,
Put money in it every year.
It
We own
belongs to
the-
the city.
but,
It's a city-owned park operated by Keizer Little League,
Right.
so
Yeah, well,
somebody should
that's-
be putting eyes on it to make sure, I suppose, they're not doing things they're not supposed to be doing.
And right now, they're not, but who knows
I try to
what's
do
gonna
that, but I don't
happen.
always get up there.
But it's nice to have a report what's going on and whatever. I mean, that's a huge
well,
investment.
yes, well, I thought that was kind of out of our jurisdiction, that we really don't have a lot to do with that, other than when they come and ask money, and that's about as much as we really discuss that park.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna like start making random decisions of what should go on up there.
No, but we've talked about security, we've talked about some other things that,
Well, that's-
Bottom line is, most of what we do up there, the discussions that we have up there are also with Keizer Little League joined together as a joint discussion, and then kind of bounce ideas off each
That's
other.
kind of like the city council's thing, they have a contract with that, right?
Yes,
Now I do have my hand up.
Yes, Donna?
I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
Sounds like
can
we're
have it
getting
next.
nowhere fast. Everybody's got an idea. We all agree that we need to have some kind of a reporting routine of the parks that we're assigned to. I think it's important now that we have a fee structure that we make sure that we understand what's happening in our parks and can report on that as well as staff. I think we should just put all the names of the parks in a hat and just draw them. And that way, there's no favoritism, there's no so-and-so got such and such, or I've always had this, and, and then maybe every 6 months we do that again. I don't know.
Well, I was
just
figuring
have
about
some
once
more
a year.
Random choices rather than not. But if randomness is not what we're after, if everybody wants to have their own little backyard park, then let's do it that way. But let's start moving forward and making something happen.
I agree with you. And I don't, like I said, I have lots of backyard parks around my house.
I have none.
Oh, well, I can give you one of mine. But there are some people maybe new to this system that want to deal with a park close to them. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, as long as we get it, we cater to them to a certain extent, but I still want them to look at all the parks at some point in their tenure here. That's my idea. And I don't think that's really that objectionable. So maybe we'll start, I have a request in writing here. So I guess everybody pull out their map.
What, can I finish my
Yes.
point?
Yes.
My thought was, and I like Donna's idea, but everybody, the six that are here, and I think that if we're gonna keep Keizer Little League, I think that the other two would probably pick those with Bob Newton, Keizer Little League. The six of us here, pick a park that you want and then draw the other two out, or the other ones out of a hat.
Well, if we're going to give, and Clint would be the logical person
Right.
for Kaiser sorry,
Keizer Little League.
that too. That he could just take care of this one right there.
Right, okay.
Okay.
And Zahara, she lives right on
Claggett.
Bob Newton.
Claggett Creek, she's close to Claggett Creek.
Oh, she is? Well, then,
So that would be one of hers. And then something close to hers would, well, anyway, we'll fill in her other one as
Put
everybody else.
9 in a hat and draw randomly?
And then leave the rest of them till they show up.
All right. All right, which ones? Besides the Little League, well, there's 19.
Well, wouldn't you want everyone to first say, hey, we want to do
This
these?
this is the main park?
Yeah, when you first want to have people pick which one they think is going to be the most convenient for them, or the more passionate about them picking, and attending to, and
Yeah.
then putting the ones that are left
In a
for
hat?
random assortment. Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's a good recommendation.
Yep.
I think so. Too bad we don't have can we get a flip chart? Quickly?
I can write them out on the back
Okay,
of this if you want me to.
you do
sure.
that. Because I can't spell and you'll never figure out what I'm writing. Oh, there's the hat too.
Oh.
well, are we gonna assume then that for Clint is Little League and
Yeah, we can,
Mike Whitman, and for Zara,
well, Claggett
it's
and.
Claggett and,
something else.
yeah.
Okay, so I have Zara gets Claggett, Clint has Keizer Little League, and Mike gets Whittem, right?
Yeah, well, Clint's actually very obviously that one.
Well, so
For now,
And I don't
he's
see
there anyway.
he's up there a lot at the amphitheater too, doing the watering through the summer, so.
Well, but that isn't
We
even
are
on here.
apparently all assigned
Yeah, we're all assigned to that.
Kaiser Rapids.
Okay.
We all
it's a
have
divided,
Kaiser
right?
Rapids?
Keizer Rapids.
It's not on here
Keizer Rapids
separately.
belongs to everybody.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone's, yes. So,
As it was.
Dylan, did you pick your one choice?
No, but.
Which one do you want?
I'm not actually that interested in anything, or particularly
Okay, so
towards
which
anything.
one's farthest away from your
The
house?
one that's closest to me is Palmacia, but,
That's a no development park.
yep,
you
it's
like
not,
that
not
one,
like,
do
I'm not sure.
Did you say Sunset, though?
I did, but it sounds like Jim's.
Well, I really don't care. I was just trying to be, that I'm there every week and,
So
I always
Jim
take a
wants-
look. But if he wants Sunset, that's fine.
I'll probably be around Palmacia more frequently.
So Dylan, you want Palmacia?
Sure.
Donna, do you have a primary
What?
choice? We'll have to give you a hard park.
Yeah, give me the one up at
like I
Kaiser
said,
Station,
I
the
wish I could have them all.
You
PFC
want
Ryan.
do you want the Kaiser
You ran
Station one?
home.
Which did you pick, Donna?
The PFC, Ryan J. Hill.
Keizer Station, okay.
Wayne, I suppose
Um,
you can pick two right now because I know what they're going to be.
Country Glen,
And Hidden Creek.
those two go right together because they are almost attached to
Well,
each
they are
other.
attached.
And I'm there at Country Glen taking care of a soccer field.
No, I know that.
And
But,
so I
but
will,
be reminded that in a year, we're going to change again.
Mhm.
Okay?
I'm open to any of them, but
Well, why
if-
don't you, since you got the soccer fields, why don't you just take those two for
Um,
this year?
sure.
Matt, which ones? I kind of thought you could take care of the skate park.
Where did
and
Jim have?
He hasn't got any yet.
I get to go last.
Oh, wait, okay, I thought.
No, he traded.
Okay,
Well, I have Sunset, but I don't have another one.
Oh, no, and we're only picking one.
Right.
And you're taking Palmacia, right? Sure. Okay, so Jim has Sunset and Dylan has Palmacia. With the leftover ones, we're gonna draw them out, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
well, unless they're like Clint and Mike Whit, I mean, they're like together.
Right.
His are together.
Okay, so Matt, then you know which ones are left.
You know, I'm not opposed to taking the skate park area. I do like the Meadows. It is near my house, so whatever your
Which
pleasure
would
be.
you prefer?
I don't care. It's not that big of a deal
You have
to
to
me.
make a choice. Everybody's making
Don't
one
have to.
choice.
Well, then you get to draw twice.
Okay,
Well, why
then
don't
yeah, you
you-
can do
fine.
that.
I'll take the skate park if that, whatever, it's fine.
No, you could take the Meadows, that would have been fine.
Okay, so David,
I'll take this. Which one are you taking? Are you taking the Meadows? You want the Meadows?
No, I was told no.
No, he's doing.
I'm doing the
Chalmers
skate
Jones.
park / Chalmers Jones. That,
Okay, so he's got those two right here behind the city hall.
No, it's just
well, I'm taking it as a one, yeah.
No, we'll take that as one. I'll take Bear Park.
Man, I'm glad that one's taken.
It needs help.
I know it does. I won't walk in there to see her.
sign Cat, or do you wanna just give her,
Well, I don't know where Kat lives. Does she have a park close to her?
Matt, do you know?
Well, she
I
lives up
mean,
Crystal
It's
Springs.
listed right here.
She doesn't live up Crystal Springs. She lives over by the,
Her address?
Well, her address on the
or
form
sorry,
says
I mean, no, she
Crystal
lives over by the lake.
Yeah,
Stats Lake,
No,
Crystal
there's
Springs.
not much there.
Sorry, as I was.
well, that's Crystal Springs Lane is over by the lake.
I'm sorry. Spoke out of turn. I
So
didn't
we
know.
just leave her and give her the two that are left over after we draw?
I mean, she's,
I feel like it would be fair for her to be able to trade on any of them if she wanted, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you.
Is that?
That's fine.
Well, she'd be close to, fairly close to
Just
Meadows.
north of where she lives.
Yeah,
What's north of where she lives?
Meadows.
So do we let her draw or we give her one?
Well, you give her one and then the draw
Okay,
is.
we'll give her Meadows.
Okay.
And
Jim, did you actually pick or no?
Yeah, Sunset.
Okay, so that leaves Bob Newton, Northview, Clear Lake, North Ridge, Van Miller, Wallace House, and Willamette Manor. So we will write those on paper. What have you got, Bob Newton? Okay, I'll start.
You know, taking Sunset for me just means that I'm paying more attention. I'm there,
there's enough, no,
and Daryl's always me anyway, so
well, that's just as well as I don't go there.
I love the guy though. He was a good guy.
He wasn't a good guy. I see things going on in the park that
I mean, I know all the
particularly
parks.
care.
Bear Park, for me, I would look at it for afar, but I ain't going in there.
Oh, you lose your poison. Coward. So that stuff on the north side, it looks like that house is encroaching into the park.
What's the one? Oh, it's Northview Terrace. Is Northview Terrace on the list?
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's one that's being drawn? Yeah. Is it,
That's the one with the failing sports court.
Well, there's North
It's-
Ridge and
It's up
Northview.
here.
no,
It's North Ridge and Northview Terrace.
Right.
yeah, Northridge is the one with the basketball court, right?
No, it's
Northridge is
That's the one
the
that's
natural
undeveloped.
park.
All right, I got them flipped. Right.
There's nothing growing in that hat, is there? No little bugs.
Why you gonna make me pick first?
You get a bigger choice. What's the difference?
Going down the line.
I don't, yeah.
Oh, boy. Bob Newton.
Okay.
Clear Lake.
Oh, Wayne, you shouldn't have drawn.
You have to.
Well, you messed it all up. What if somebody else comes
Guess what I got again?
Okay.
What, did you get another one again?
Well, I got Northview.
Northridge again.
So I'll be happy to take Clear Lake anyways, because I'm up there almost every day. So I'll do 3. I'm gonna be an over.
I got Ben Miller.
Willamette, which either means I get to pick any of the parks
No,
on
that would
along.
be
I know
the-
it's Willamette Manor. I'm just.
Yeah, you can have all the
I
parks
get all the
along
parks
ro-
along the
road.
Willamette.
Northridge. That's the same one I had,
Ooh,
which is fine.
All right, so
That's
we have
scary.
one left over?
No, Matt took 3. Did you take 3, Matt?
it was a joke.
I was joking, but I,
No,
Oh.
he doesn't get 3.
but I will take Clear Lake if I need to.
Okay, let's give one to Zyra. Which one?
Probably Wallace House for
For,
Zara. And then Clear Lake can be for Cat. Geographically, it makes sense.
yes, it does. Okay. All right, so if I may, I will read what we have.
Good.
Thank you.
So Zara Flores Marin gets Claggett and Wallace House. Kat Gaynor gets Meadows and Clear Lake. Dylan gets Palmacia and Willamette Manor. Donna Bradley gets the Private Ryan and Northridge. David gets Bear Park and Ben Miller. Clint gets Keizer Little League and Mike Whittam. Jim gets Sunset and Northview. Matt gets Chalmers Jones and Bob Newton. And Wayne gets Country Glen and Hidden Creek. Okay? Y'all have your assignments?
Yep.
I will make up some new rosters for you.
So-
and I'll email you.
So I was hoping that, like, the odd numbers or even numbers could report next month, and then the other,
Okay, which ones? We'll just alternate. Which ones do you want to start with?
The position numbers you're talking about?
yeah, position numbers, we'll start even. Oh, see, I'm 3, so,
Seems awfully self-serving there.
yes, absolutely.
We should flip a coin.
So does everybody know their position number?
It's on your,
It's on there.
I got so many papers here.
So you're 5.
I'm 5?
Yeah.
Oh,
your next month, doing odd numbers, no, even
Even.
numbers next month.
even numbers on next month?
Well, is nobody going this month? Are you not going to report on the parks you were just assigned? I'm just kidding.
I can report on Northridge. Nothing happened.
I will try to put something in here as far as the months that you report, so it's all on this financial.
Thank you, Dave.
It'll be
you.
alternating months? Okay.
So,
I found it, when we did it every month, it wasn't very convenient, because
It's too much, yes.
it's
Yeah,
too much.
it takes too much time.
Yes, Mr. Laura.
so point of clarification, you're expecting folks between now and the next meeting, in terms of the even numbers, to go out and do their stuff, and then, right?
Just, I don't expect a lot with the rain we're gonna have, but just to start the process, yes.
And if you don't get a chance, you just say, I didn't get to it this month. I mean, nobody's gonna hang you.
But no
really
snacks
hope
after
Because
the
then you
meeting.
have to dig the hole and, you know.
Everybody had extra coffee today, I think.
All right. That seemed to come to a peaceful resolution. That worked. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Robert. You broke it.
Mind your P's.
Oh, it's off. Okay. We hired our other full-time parks employee. His name's Lawson Smith. So we now have 2 additional parks guys, which makes a total of 4, including myself.
Great.
So super happy about that. Thanks again for all your hard work on the parks fee, because I'm starting to see the outcome of that, and it's going to be great. I really look forward to this summer and seeing how much additional work we can accomplish. So, speaking of additional work, things are looking really good for the Meadows Play structure. We're shooting for a May through September build time. It's pretty much going to be all summer, just the size of the project, and we're splitting, paying for it over 2 budget cycles. Part of it this fiscal year, and part of it's going to be paid for in next fiscal year. So, but the budget allows for us doing it that way to do a good job up there at Meadows. So we look forward to that. I think I've kind of given you guys an idea of what we're looking at. It's going to be a new play structure for both 2 different ages. So you're going to have kind of a large structure for the 5 to 12, and you're going to have a smaller structure for the 2 to 5-year-olds. Additional swings. Right now we have 4 swings up there. We'll have 6. One of them will be an ADA swing. and then a small like spider web style climbing structure. And a lot of the ideas we are incorporating into this playground came from the meeting we held here, where the neighbors of Meadows Park came and had that formal, you know, one-on-one discussion with us, and we were able to write all their ideas down. And I literally sent that list off to the playground designers, and they were able to incorporate not all, but as many as possible without creating like the big toy. So, really happy with that whole process. It was fun. I look forward to doing that again at other parks in the near future. So,
Yes.
So, Robert,
Yeah.
on that, I know one of the things that got brought up, and I've heard about it
Mhm.
since going back and visiting that park.
yes.
The gate access from River Road.
Uh huh.
Is that going to be looked at? Because right now it's kind of open, and some of the concerns have been kids can just dart out onto River Road from there.
It's nothing. No decision has been made yet on that. After the playground is built, we're going to repave that pathway through there, get it up to ADA standards, make it a little bit wider so it's a little more user friendly. Because right now it's a really narrow path, real mogully. So once the pathway is paved, then we can look into whether or not we think there should be a gate there. It's a somewhat of a, I guess, I don't want to discredit it. It's a valid point. That gate is probably 125 feet from the playground, so it's not, I mean, it's hit and miss. What I don't want to do, you get a lot of, what's that? Oh,
Play on
wow.
words there.
I'm not
Play on
playing
words.
Frogger.
We have a lot of joggers and cyclists that come through there, and I mean, I'm not trying to discredit a safety hazard by any means. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any other options that would. My fear is enough people already think that that's a private park just because it has a
Right.
fence all the way around it, and you go throw in a gate there, and then they're really going to think it's
Now
a
you're
private
going
park
through
because
something
they're going to
like
drive by and go, "There's no entry to that park. I'm not going there." That it looks like one of those private parks that a subdivision builds just for their access. So I'm trying to figure out how to keep it inviting but safe.
Well, even if one of the other comments that I heard was even if it's like kind of one of those L-shaped entries.
Yeah, where you
Would-
stagger it.
Yeah.
Yeah, slows them down.
Yeah, that
they
would
can't
slow
just
them down.
blaze
That's
out.
exactly right. Yeah.
That's kind of where my mind's going. So
Okay.
we'll look into that once we get it paved and go from there. So
Thank you.
yeah, mowing. We got all the parks mowed this week. Yay! We got one mowing down and many to go. I was able to order 2 new mowers, so we're really excited to get those in. Should have them in the next couple weeks. They're going to be 0-turn recycling mowers, so it's going to help keep less fluff sitting on top of the grass. Should give us a nice clean cut. We're ordering a little bit wider decks than what we've gone with in the past, so we should be able to accomplish a lot of mowing with those 2 mowers this summer and keep up with it. So hopefully it doesn't rain till June 15th, but you know, whatever. If it does, so be it. The restroom project, I have an update for you guys for the new restrooms down at Keizer Rapids. So we went out to bid, and all the bids came in extremely high compared to what we had budgeted for, I guess you could say, within that grant that we received for Keizer Rapids. A lot of that is to do with just the sheer fact that the economy is booming right now, and we were looking at a summer build project, and a lot of these contractors to fit another build into this summer, we think most likely just caused the price to go up. So what we did is we actually threw out all the bids, and we're going to rebid the project. We're looking into any ways that we can try to save some money on it, not without changing the overall design of the restroom, especially not the size of it, because we all know that Keizer Rapids at times needs a pretty good sized restroom. So what we're looking to do is really rebid it for fall, winter, spring, this coming fall, winter, spring, and hopefully get the price down a little bit. So we'll see where that lands. But the bottom line is it's not going to get built this summer like I told you. So
can
there's a
you put
slight delay.
Can you put a septic system in the winter? You're gonna have to put that in the fall.
That's
before it
all.
starts.
That's all packaged into the build at the same time.
I
the
mean,
septic.
there are times you can't build septic systems.
Okay, I don't
I
know
don't know
a
what
lot
the
about that.
soils look like.
Well, the soils are great. We've had it inspected twice by engineers and gotten kudos on our soil conditions down there. It's very good sandy loam. So, anyways, so that's kind of slightly bad news for those who are really excited to see that get built this summer. But it's not delayed like a year. It's more like a season. So,
Well,
yes, sir.
can you, in the bid, could you qualify that the septic system, the drain that goes down to it, be completed in the fall?
Yeah, we can qualify whatever we want.
Otherwise, I'm afraid it would hold it up.
Hold up the overall build.
Hold the whole, being done, because if they have to wait for weather.
I'm
Maybe
gonna,
you don't, but
I'm just gonna leave
I
that
would
to,
think,
to engineers and the experts on that. And if they tell us that it can't be built this fall or winter, then yeah, I think we would have to look into should the septic go in before the build. But it's first I've heard any conversation amongst that line. So
it may not be a problem.
it's a valid point if it's true. But based on our soil conditions, we might be able to still proceed. Mr. Loudon, are you telling me you absolutely can't install septics in the winter, or just
I'm not
under
an
certain?
on-site, I just work closely
Yes.
with the on-site wastewater specialists, and
For
they
sure.
tell me if the soil's smeared, you can't do it in the when it's wet, because then it's impervious, it won't work.
Gotcha.
I don't know if those soils will work or not, so
Sure.
ask your engineers, they should know.
We will. I'll make sure that question gets asked and brought up. It's a good point.
So
Yes, sir.
if I may, is it relevant to ask how much higher the costs were? I mean, other than just cost prohibitive to do them?
Bids came in well over $100,000 up.
Wow.
It was a big number.
So
So-
much more than 20% then.
Yeah, and we contacted the folks that oversee the grant, and it's not a problem to extend because we did have a deadline coming up to have that money spent by. But it's not a problem at all when you're kind of in the middle of getting something built like this to have that extended. So we've already gone down that road and dealt with that piece of cake.
you know, they
So-
just want to make sure you're going to do it.
Exactly.
So-
So we're not backing out of the project by any means. So, also, one last thing I just wanted to mention, it's not directly parks related, but sort of, is the Dearborn Bridge project will be coming up this summer. That'll interrupt the use of Claggett Creek Park on the south side at times. It should, that park, that entry off Dearborn should remain open for the most part. There may be a couple times where they're doing some storm line reconfiguring that they may have to close the road for a day or two. But we don't really see a huge impact to the park. They're not staging equipment in the park or anything like that. So, but I just wanted to bring it up that at times park users may see a slight interruption on the south side of Claggett Creek Park this summer from 1st of May through September 15th. So, other than that, that's all I got.
Robert,
Yes, sir.
question, is
Yeah.
that bridge, is it a bridge across Claggett Creek?
Yes,
Okay.
that serves Dearborn itself, yes.
Yes, Jim?
The burning at Keizer Rapids,
Mhm.
I've had people ask me
Mm-hmm.
when that's going to take place, and I said, well, it was supposed to take place sometime in March, but
It's looking more like, I mean, we're in March, sometime in April, mid to late April is our target date now. There was a few hiccups of some sort, but,
are they going to try and do that with a favorable wind to the northwest, or just going to do it?
I don't know. I mean, we're only gonna burn it on a day that's
Right.
okay for ag burn, and I think they obviously put all that into place, make sure there's not too much wind that day. The direction of wind, I agree, we probably don't want it going straight east, but, yeah. And it's gonna be multiple days, I say that day.
Yeah.
There's more piles down there than one day of burning, so.
If we hired somebody to do this burning, or is the fire department overseeing it, or everybody goes with a match and has a
No,
party?
no. It would be probably a farmer doing it for us.
A farmer?
Yeah.
Well, that brings up the other question. When are you going to have the leases for that property?
It's all being worked on right now. I don't have an answer of when
Are there,
any contracts would be signed.
are there interests?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the bunnies?
What bunnies?
Well, people in the adjoining neighborhood to
Uh-huh.
Keizer Rapids, since you've dug up all those trees and everything, have bunnies overrunning the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen them. There's rabbits.
I've seen 2 bunnies out by Shamal Road. They look like house pets.
They
that
think
what you're
that
talking about?
probably, yeah, they think that at some point in time, they probably got loose
Oh,
from somebody and they've interbred and now they look.
I don't have
like-
any plans for the bunnies. I figured if they're not
Yeah,
harming us,
Several
they're
of
fine.
the neighborhood people are
Create a bun-
seeing them and they're in their house, not in their
They're
house,
in their
in their
house.
backyards, in their gardens,
Causing issues.
everywhere, yeah. So just throwing that out there just to let you know. I live in Spring Meadow Estates and they're gonna try and do some trapping,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. But right now, is it trap and kill or is it, I mean, things are really, some of the neighbors are a little
It
heated.
depends on what, I mean, if it's a wild cottontail, you can't do that,
No.
but.
No,
I know. There's a lot of ifs.
kind
But
of
they're
depend.
bigger than wild cottontails by
Well, the
a
one I
margin.
saw a picture of was quite a bit bigger.
Well, I saw quite, down in, towards the Gulf, I saw,
Not the rapids, I saw it then.
I saw a
There's
small,
rabbits.
small one, but also it depends on whether or not it's the Monty Python rabbit.
I'm really struggling. What kind of problems could they possibly, how many rabbits are we talking about? I saw like 2.
Only,
Read quickly.
Neighborhood
That's how
used
many
more
I've
than
seen.
2.
One was solid black, so it obviously isn't a cottontail.
oh,
Huh.
well, the one at Monty Python was white, so we're okay. You know about that rabbit, don't you?
So,
Okay, Mr. Lawyer.
so just for the record, and I think for folks at home that are interested, there has been a significant level of concern about the burn. Granted, it is an acceptable ag use, but recognizing wind shift and everything else like that, at this point, it is so cost prohibitive to have that taken off site. The ag burn essentially is really the most cost effective and timely way to remove all of that material, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there's not really an alternative to shift it out to, let's say, the quarry or anywhere else, because again, it costs a tremendous amount of money to do so, correct?
What do you mean by shift it to the quarry?
Well, basically load it all out and burn it all at the quarry versus burning it on site.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're
Get it away
talking,
from the houses.
Yeah.
it's 2,000 trees. It would take you, I don't even know how much.
But
Labor
it's
that would
essentially
take to
just
move it.
cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
At this point, this
Yeah,
is the
that-
most
that-
cost-effective legal way to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is that all you have for us, Robert? Thank you. Well, we don't have no council report, no youth committee liaison. Any other business? Yes, Donna?
Just a reminder that the Parks Foundation still has money available to people, grant money. Thinking that spring is coming and people may get into the mood of wanting to do some volunteerism at the parks, building things, et cetera, they can apply with the city to get approval for what they want to do, and then they can apply to the Parks Board for matching grant.
So we're running your matching grant, the Parks Foundation's matching grant. Is that
Yes,
what I heard?
we have matching grant money, but first we want the city to approve the project.
Okay, then they come to you. Okay.
And we have, on the website is a form for them to print out and fill out.
Thank you. Yes,
I
Matt?
do have a couple quick items. First, I want to welcome Donna back. Nice little vacation, but we're glad to have you back. We missed you.
I wish.
So in terms of the grants, Robert, is it anticipated still that in this next fiscal year, we're going to get our grant funding back for the Parks Board?
Yes, in the budget that I just put together, obviously it's not past the budget committee yet, but it did have $10,000 back in the grant program. So you've got the 10 grand there, hopefully. Don't see why not. And I don't know how much
Quite a pile.
you have to. I know it was a pretty good amount. So
We're looking about 27K.
yeah, cool. So ours obviously is for this next fiscal cycle. Yours
Is ongoing.
is from now till it's spent.
goes away.
So,
We're not planning any kind of fundraiser this year.
yeah,
The Parks Foundation is dwindling in its amount of people,
sure.
and so we don't know what the future holds in that respect, but we will keep the door open as long as there are monies to be.
Well, it's kind of neat too, because in my current situation, when you guys approve these projects, you know, we have a deadline that starts that we'd like the project to be completed by, where if somebody comes to us with a project and their deadline's a little bit wishy-washy, there's another source of funds that there's not such a stringent date locked in, so.
Yes, Matt?
So I'm happy to say that we had 3 volunteer the quarters from last year. All 3 were related to parks projects. Hans Schneider was volunteer of the quarter for all of his efforts down with the the volleyball courts and shelter. We also had Dan Kohler with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with all their efforts for the wood chip removal, and then Whitaker and James Decker for a lot of the work they've been doing. They did a big project on October 28th, and they've also been doing a lot in terms of projects with the Claggett Creek Watershed Council, but all 3 of those were related to parks projects, and so we're really, really happy with that. And speaking of which, this Saturday, we have the annual Civic Center cleanup right out here. We're taking on a little bit more of the Heritage Center area, so that's going to be exciting. It's a big event. We're hoping for up to 100 people. Right now, Whitaker is committed at least 50 kids. Claggett Creek Middle School has also committed some kids, as well as McNary ROTC. And so the biggest takeaway from this, in my opinion, has just been a resurgence of the youth activity and volunteerism. We brought on the Claggett Creek Watershed Council a youth liaison from Whitaker, so we're really excited about that. And so parents that are watching this, I would just highly encourage getting your kids out there. It is an opportunity to participate in the community. It does count for school volunteer hours, but it's been just really, really fantastic from my point of view to see that, both from the parks perspective, but also the Claggett Creek Watershed Council perspective. And so, again, this Saturday, 9 a.m., out here at the Keizer Civic Center. Great cleanup effort, and it's nice to see that the city continues to partner with us on that to make a difference here. So that's all I got. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Dave, I've got something.
What?
I found some at Keizer Rapids Park, Walsh's Landing. The restroom has graffiti on 2 walls. It needs to be either scrubbed or painted.
We took care of it today, thank you.
Awesome. And then another maintenance item at Country Glen. Right as you come across the footbridge, there's a little box for dog bags. And that box has a whole bunch of nails in it that are exposed nails. The box is in disrepair.
It needs to be replaced.
Are you talking a wood box?
Wood blocks, yes. Right
Okay.
as you come across the little footbridge
Okay.
into Country Glen Park.
Did something fall apart in there that exposed nails, do you know?
I don't know, but the lid has exposed nails in it. So if you open the box, you're going to see those exposed nails. And could
Okay.
be punctured or, whatever
Okay.
with those.
No,
No. Do you know what that was from, Wayne? The box?
It was,
You know what it was from, the overall project there? I was just,
I do, I've got a picture of it. It's from a group.
yeah, Eagle Scout project.
Yeah, it was.
Put that together, yeah.
Yes, in 2012.
Yeah, some of those boxes are at the age now where they're starting to show some signs of wear. So I'll see what we can do to get those nails taken care of or
plastic.
something. Sometimes those boxes work really well and sometimes they don't. There's a misconception of, is it to put empty plastic bags in or full plastic bags in? So you reach your hand in there not knowing what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Unlike our dispensers where you can't go wrong, obviously there's no way the public can open it, so it's always a nice, clean, empty bag that you're grabbing.
Well, I talk about trick or treat in the park.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Just some maintenance updates.
Any other? Hey, we're out of here early. We stand adjourned at 6:52.